Hello students. Today let's study about atoms and their properties and what is the atomic model. Means how can we know that how electron, proton, neutrons are distributed in electron atom and so on. Okay. So let's start that. As you know that atom is made up of three types of particles exactly, which is electron, proton and neutron. There are a large number of particles which are helping to keep the atoms and nucleus in stable condition. So that particles will be, I think, you will study later in nuclear physics, who are responsible for the nuclear stability and other things. So firstly, here I am going to teach you about what is atom and how can we distribute the atom, electron, proton, neutron into the atom. It means we have to study atomic models. So firstly, as you know that atoms are made up of three types of particle: electron, proton and neutron, in which you know that charges of electron and protons are the same, and electrons are negatively charged and protons are positively charged, and neutron is electrically neutral. Same as you know that mass of proton and neutron are nearly same. There are very few difference actually. They are nearly same, and mass of electron is smaller than the mass of proton and mass of neutron. So if it's normally clear to you, you know that already what is atom and how with how many particles it has been it is made up of. As you know that after discovery of electron, proton and neutron, simply an atomic model is given by different scientists. Like actually the confusion was that if atom is made up of some types of positive and negative charges, then how can they distribute, how will they distribute within the atom? So to overcome these confusions, first Thomson tried to give an atomic model. Sorry. So let's see what was his model. According to Thomson model, the shape of his atom is spherical, in which positively charged, actually that time he was unknown by what type of positive charge is spread, so that's why he simply tell that in the atom whole of the mass and positively charged are uniformly distributed throughout this sphere. It means something of this type, positively charged, will be spread over this, and the whole mass of the atom is distributed over all the sphere. Simple. This was the assumption of Thomson, that shape of nucleus is spherical and all of its mass and positive charges are distributed uniformly within this sphere. And also negative charges are distributed in such a manner that whole of the atom should be electrically neutral. It means number of positive charge will be equal to the number of negative charges. So that was the model of Thomson. Simply in one word he told that positive charge and mass will be equally distributed throughout this region, and also negative charge will be spread in such a manner that they will even simply cancel out the effect of positive charge, and finally atom will be electrically neutral. Okay. So what were the limitation, or simple, if any model is given, then definitely that model is enough to explain our atomic observed phenomena or not. So Thomson model explained simply simple atom is electrically neutral. Such types of phenomena he explained, and number of protons are equal to number of neutrons, and this phenomena was actually explained by this model. But there are a lot of phenomena which Thomson was unable to explain by his model, like later Rutherford did an experiment, alpha scattering experiment. He was unable to explain that phenomena using this model. Second experiment was that simple, actually not experiment, fine spectrum of hydrogen atom, like later I will teach you. In hydrogen atom there are so many we observe a fine spectrum like Lyman-Balmer-Paschen bracket from series. So how can we obtain that series, and why that series is observed? Thomson model was unable to explain that also. Actually, the main problem of Thomson model was one more thing, its existence problem. As you know that simply let's see, this positive charge is spread throughout the whole sphere. It means that simple negatively charged and negatively charged will also spread in such a manner that they will cancel out the effect of positive charge. So simply, if negative and positive charges are distributed uniformly, then they will easily cancel out, and it means that they will simple collide and meet, and definitely after that they will radiate through electromagnetic energy. It means that simple, if all electrons and protons are reacting with each other, or showing effect on each other, then definitely there will be, the atom's existence will be in danger. It means that is in this model finally atomic existence is in problem if all the positively charged protons are distributed uniformly throughout the sphere. Simple, the existence problem arises due to this uniform distribution of positive negative charges, as they will cancel out, and definitely finally we will get no electron and proton, and we will get an electromagnetic waves in form of that. So definitely for that reason a Thomson model was failed. So if Thomson model was failed, then definitely we will need we needed a new physics, a new model. So to explain the how atoms are constructed and what is the construction of atom actually. So to predict the atomic model, Rutherford gave an atomic model after his experiment of alpha scattering experiment. So firstly we need to know what is alpha scattering experiment, what was the construction and observation of alpha scattering experiment. So using the result of that experiment, Rutherford predicted a model which is called Rutherford atomic model, and also he gave the concept of nucleus theory. Now let's see what is the Rutherford alpha scattering experiment. For his experiment, he took a gold foil of thickness 10⁻⁸ meter, and he used to bombard it by the alpha particles, which were already fast moving alpha particles, and suppose that this is the source of alpha particles, and through the collimator beam this is the lead, and it will act as the collimator, means to confine the alpha particles or confine the beam of alpha particles to this gold foil. And after bombardment he observed the result of this experiment simply, and he used a zinc sulfide screen to observe the deflection, and simply using a microscope which was rotable. Then definitely with this rotable detector he used to see at which angle they are scattered or not. So finally the result was that simple, the experiment is alpha scattering experiment is that Rutherford and his collaborators used a gold foil of this thickness, and they bombard this foil by fast moving alpha particles, and simply observe the result of this experiment. And finally they observed that about 1 in 8,000 alpha particles, means in 8,000 alpha particles only one alpha particle reflect back. Most of the alpha particles passes straight, means simple is it's clear that alpha particles are not deflected by the any of the particles which are present in the simple atom of gold. So they concluded on the behalf of this experiment, on the behalf of the result of the experiment. Simple result was very simple, that most of the alpha particles passes straight, means they were not deflected from their path, and some only very few alpha particles reflected back. As you know that to reflect alpha particle to back in this direction, as we must need a strong positive charge for the repulsion, as the alpha particles are helium nuclei and they have quite large positive charges. Then it means that simple if we want to reflect back alpha particle, or to reflect back alpha particles, there must need of a large number of charged particles, positive charged particles, or simple the effect of that positive charged particles will be quite larger. So on the behalf of these observations, Rutherford and his collaborators concluded some results. So I think normally what is the Rutherford alpha scattering experiment is clear to you. Simple, he used this screen to record the deflection, and after recording of this deflection, he explained the region of simple these, and with this region he gave the concept of nucleus. Mostly the first of the observation is most of the alpha particles passes straight. It means that they were not deflected. It means that the most of the part of the atom is empty. Means most of the part of the atom is empty or vacant. First assumption was that. Second, as you we have seen that in 8,000 alpha particle, only one alpha particle, near about 0.14% only alpha particles reflect back towards path. It means that or scattered. It means that there is a concentration of positive charge in very small region, and due to that small region positively charged, alpha particles felt reflection and they reflected back in the direction. So this part is known as nucleus. Sorry. Simple, it's I think clear to you. If very few alpha particles are reflected back in the path, then definitely there must be a strong positive charge to make their reflection or for the repulsion. And Rutherford told us that simply in atom, all the positively charged are accumulated at a place or in a region, and that region is known as nucleus. And the region of nucleus is smaller in comparison to the other region of the nucleus, other region of the atom in which electrons are distributed. So these was the assumption of and result observation and result of alpha scattering experiment. Very simple experiment was there. Simple experiment, since most of the alpha particles are passes straight, it means that most of the place of atom is vacant. Second thing is that if very few, means 1.4% of alpha particles are scattered back, it means they are feeling repulsion. So to repel them, we must need some strong positive charge, and that positive charge is provided by the nucleus, and the region of nucleus is very small, and all of the positive charge are accumulated there, and most of the mass of the atom is also concentrated in the nucleus. So I think now it's very clear to you simply what were the result of Rutherford alpha scattering experiment. Then using each result, he gave a new atomic model which is known as Rutherford atomic model. So if it's clear, then I will tell you what is the Rutherford atomic model, and before that I will tell you what is the theory of closest approach. After that theory I will tell you what is the Rutherford atomic model. Simply he used the result of this experiment to predict its atomic model. So let's see that. So with the help of the experiment on alpha scattering experiment, Rutherford predict the size of the nucleus, or this is known as distance of closest approach. What is the distance of closest approach? As this is the distance through which alpha particle can go easily in the straight line. Like suppose that this is nucleus and alpha particle is coming towards it. So definitely you know that nucleus is positively charged. Then at certain point, obvious that alpha particle will do some work against this positive charge repulsion, and due to that work definitely its kinetic energy will be somewhat less, and again as it will goes at a straight path towards the nucleus, and definitely it have to do more work done against this repulsive force, and finally at a certain distance to the nucleus, the kinetic energy of this alpha particle becomes 0. And at this point alpha particle completely feels repulsion due to the nucleus, and again it will retrace its path and come back to 180 degree. It means it will reflect back. Simple. So this is the distance from the nucleus is known as distance of closest approach. Means to that distance simply alpha particle can go to the nucleus, and after that, and from that point it will reflect back. Simple. I think it's clear to you. Actually to calculate this distance of closest approach, Rutherford made some assumptions. So let's see what are the assumptions. First assumption was that since nucleus is heavy, as you know that he already told us that most of the mass of the atom is concentrated in that small region, means in the nucleus, then definitely nucleus will be heavy. So if nucleus is heavy, then its motion, we can neglect the motion of the nucleus. So to calculate distance of closest approach, he neglected the motion of the nucleus. It means he assumed that nucleus is at rest. First. Second assumption was that alpha particle and nucleus both were taken as point charges. Means for any other difficulty, means to overcome the difficulties while calculating this closest approach, he simply take nucleus as a point charge and alpha particle as a point charge, so that easily he can or simple one can measure the what will be the Coulomb repulsive force acting between alpha particle and positively charged nucleus. So second assumption was that. So third assumption was that the collision between nucleus and alpha particle will be total elastic collision. Means the region to which it will collide and reflect back, then that collision will be elastic collision. Means kinetic energy and momentum will be conserved in that region. Simple. So these were the assumptions of Rutherford to calculate this distance of closest approach. So now let's see what is the distance of closest approach one more time. Simple. I will do you. Suppose that this is nucleus, and we can also take this as point charge. This is positively charged nucleus, and alpha particle is simple going towards it. So as you know that in some region, if there are both are positive charges, then definitely there will be some Coulomb repulsive force acting between them. So due to that repulsive force, definitely if alpha particle to move in the straight line or straight path, then definitely it will have to do some work, and that work will be at least stored in the as the potential energy. Simple means that some of the velocity is less than the earlier, means kinetic energy kinetic energy will decrease and potential energy will increase. It means that velocity of alpha particle will goes to slower down. Again, when it will tend to the nucleus, then definitely it have to do more work to trace this path. Then definitely if it will do more work, then it will use its kinetic energy to overcome this repulsive force, or again due to the use of kinetic energy, its all of the kinetic energy will decrease. It means again it will again go slower down, and finally at some point it's all of the kinetic energy is used to overcome this repulsive force of nucleus, and at that point its velocity becomes 0, means alpha particle will stop there, and simple, it means that whole of the kinetic energy of alpha particle will be converted into the potential energy, and at that point it will feel a strong repulsion from the nucleus, and it will retrace its path and reflect back to its path to 180 degree angle. Clear? I think it's simple, clear. If there is Coulomb repulsive force, if there is repulsive force, then definitely to overcome that repulsive force we must to do some work, and if alpha particle has to do some work, then definitely it will use its energy in doing that work, and it will use simply its kinetic energy, and due to use of kinetic energy its velocity will decrease, and ultimately at a point its velocity will be 0 from some distance to the nucleus. So this distance is known as distance of closest approach, means the distance at which simply alpha particles kinetic energy becomes 0. It may whole of the its kinetic energy converted into potential energy is known as distance of closest approach, and also this distance of closest approach is known as the size of it will simple, if you will you will draw a locus or sphere using this, and definitely that region is the region of nucleus, means this is the region till that nucleus is effective, means if any particle will come to the towards the nucleus, and definitely to this point it will its velocity will be 0, and finally it will reflect back, means after this distance simple positively charged or other particles cannot penetrate the nucleus, and that's why this is known as the region of the nucleus or size of the nucleus. So simply distance of closest approach is also known as the size of the nucleus. Now I think it's clear to you what is the size of the nucleus or what is the distance of closest approach. So let's see how can we calculate distance of closest approach. So let's calculate distance of closest approach. So let us consider that if this is the nucleus, and the charge of the nucleus will be simple Ze, where Z is the number of positive charge contained in the nucleus, and E is the charge on one positive charge particles, or simple you can say proton here, and this is the charge of this. If suppose that this is alpha particle, and simply you know that the charge on alpha particle is 2e. Clear? Suppose that at distance r0 its whole of the kinetic energy is converted into the potential energy. It means that this distance r0 is the distance of closest approach. As I told you that simple due to the repulsive force, all of the kinetic energy of alpha particle will be converted into potential energy, as it will use its kinetic energy to overcome that simple repulsive force, and due to that its velocity decreasing, and due to decrement in velocity, definitely there will be decrement in kinetic energy. Clear? So let us suppose this r0 is the distance of closest approach, then we have to find this distance. So this all is given. So simple, let us assume that this charge is q1, and charge on alpha particle and charge on nucleus. Clearly, we can also calculate electric potential with the on this nucleus. So what will be the electric potential? Simple electric potential at some distance r0 due to this positive charge will be simple q upon 4 pi epsilon naught r0. If we are taking the example of simple epsilon 0 is the permittivity of free space, so we are taking free space for the assumption. So what will be the charge? Simple ZE upon 4 pi epsilon 0 r0. And also if we want to find potential, electric potential energy used at this alpha particle, then definitely we have to simply multiply this charge. You know that what is the electric potential energy, which is q1 q2 upon 4 pi epsilon naught 0. So as I have calculated easily electric potential, then we have to multiply only charge of alpha particle in it. Clear? So this is the electric potential energy at a distance r0 from the nucleus. Now this electric potential energy is obtained due to the conversion of kinetic energy into potential energy. So suppose that the velocity of alpha particle would be, then what will be the kinetic energy? Half mv square, if m is the mass of this. So simple half mv square will be equal to, here m is the mass of the alpha particle. Clear? So half mv square will be equal to the potential energy obtained at a distance r0 from the nucleus. So after solving this equation, you will get this value of r0. This is the required value, and also we can calculate easily the distance of closest approach for any charged particle. If we know the mass of the charged particle which is approaching to the nucleus, velocity of that charged particle, and obviously simple if we know the about the atom, then we can also find out what will be the number of positive charge contained in the atom. Then we can easily calculate, these all are constants, we can easily calculate what will be the distance of closest approach, and obviously this distance will change for the atoms and for the particles. Clear? If the atom will consist large number of positive charges, then definitely r0 will be different, and if it will some charged particle approaching to the nucleus have greater mass or less velocity or greater velocity, then that factors will change the value of r0. Means distance of closest approach is not a constant value, it is constant for some particle and some atom. Means simple, if we change atom, then distance of closest approach will change, or if we change particle, distance of closest approach will change. Simply it depends on these three factors. So I think now it's clear to you what is the distance of closest approach, and with the help of this these assumptions and theory, simply size of nucleus can be obtained. So what is the size of nucleus for the particular atom to that charged particles. Now let's see what is the Rutherford atomic model. Now let's see what is the Rutherford atomic model. His atomic model is totally based on his experiment on gold foil, when gold foil was bombarded by simply alpha particles, means alpha scattering experiment. So with that experiment, he told or he predicted an atomic model. The assumption of that atomic model was that first, in every atom there is a tiny space in which all positive charges, means most of the mass of the atom is concentrated, and that region is known as nucleus. So that's why Rutherford is also known as the father of nuclear physics, because he was the first who gave the idea of nucleus, and he told us that simply most of the mass of the atom is concentrated to the nucleus. So that's why he is known as father of nuclear model, clear, or nuclear physics. Second concept was that the actually I'm telling that this is very tiny region, means the order of the nucleus is very small in comparison to order of the atom. Order of nucleus is nearly 10⁻⁻15 meter, and order of atom is calculated nearly 10⁻⁻10 meter, since it means that atom is 10 to the power 5 times larger than the nuclear size. Clear? So this was the second assumption, and he actually predicted that distance or that size with the help of distance of closest approach. Third assumption or third point of his atomic model was that since atom is electrically neutral, then number of electron will be equal to the number of positive charge contained in the nucleus. Simple. And finally, if you will calculate the net atomic charge on the nucleus, atom, it will be 0. It means that atom is electrically neutral. Fourth concept was that electrons are revolving in circular orbits outside the nucleus. Clear? These were the assumptions of Rutherford atomic model, and also he told us that when an electron jumps from higher orbit to lower orbit, actually these are the circular orbits and known as orbital, or simple we can call it them orbits. The energy of higher orbit means the orbit which are at the large distance to the nucleus, definitely they will feel less repulsion or less attractive force. So due to that, their potential energy will be greater. So definitely at this point this will be the order of higher energy. So we call it higher energy level, we call it lower energy level in comparison to that. So if any electron will jump from higher to lower energy level, then there will be radiation of energy takes place, and that radiation of energy, actually that concept was given by Planck, and further I will use it, but only it told us that simply when electron jumps from higher to lower, then energy radiation takes place. So all these concept, and it means that due to this assumption of circular orbit and transition, he was successful in explaining the spectrum of hydrogen and other portion. But finally, what is the actually his model is also not exact. So what are the limitation of Rutherford atomic model? I will tell you that in next class. So I think all the concept of here is clear to you. What is a Rutherford atomic model? How he predicted his model on the behalf of alpha scattering experiment. What is the distance of closest approach? I think all these things are clear to you. So in next class we will see what is the limitation of Rutherford model. Why we need a new model again. So let's see that in the next class.